than that, I'm going to turn it over to Scott and we can begin. Scott, I'm going
All
to
right.
give you the controls right now.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Can you just confirm you can see my screen okay?
I can see your screen.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Brianna, for the intro, and thanks, everyone, again, for joining us today. This is going to be an overview, kind of a top-level tour of the new Advanced Analytics tool that Sage has just now finally released. It's been in beta for a while, and some of you may have joined us a couple of months ago already, where we had done an initial tour of it and had a little glitch at the end of the presentation, so I had to cut it short. But today we hope to get all the way through it, and this is actually a newer version that has some additional filtering features and functions built in it. So even if you sat through it the last time, you might see some things in this released version that you'll find a little bit attractive too. So before I get started on this thing, I want to bring up a slide. And can you see that slide okay, Brianna? I'm never sure if it comes through okay.
Yep, I can see the slide.
Okay. This is just a few things I think would be important to tell everyone on the call. Advanced Analytics for Sage SalesLogix is now officially released, as I mentioned, and they are looking for customers who are interested in participating in what they're calling a controlled release program. They don't want me to use the word beta because it's been betaed and debugged, and it does seem really solid to me in my experimenting with it as well. So they're looking for clients who are willing to raise their hand and say, yes, we're interested in this controlled release. I don't have all the details. I'm not even sure what the cost might be for this program. So we don't have all the details yet, other than they're inviting customers to raise their hand and say, we want to kick the tires on this thing in our own database. And the requirements are that you are on SalesLogix version 7.5.4, the latest version, and it could be LAN or web. This product works in both. You do have to be a SQL-based database as opposed to Oracle, which is pretty much everybody. And you have to be willing to use it in an out-of-the-box fashion before making any customizations. And I'll mention here that there are two license types for Advanced Analytics. One of them is what we call a standard user. And a standard user is what you're going to see today. And that's basically somebody who has the ability to use all of the dashboards, KPIs, and all the metrics that we're going to look at today. Then there's a professional user who has the ability to modify these dashboard items and create new ones. So that's the difference. We also don't have pricing quite yet for on-premise. We do have pricing for cloud clients. And so if there are any cloud customers that are on the call, that is available. It is available for purchase today. The pricing is $350 per month, and that includes 10 standard users and then 1 professional user. So it's a 10-user block plus a professional user, so you can make your own customizations and build net new dashboards as you see fit. Also, they wanted me to announce that anybody that currently owns Visual Analyzer, they are offering a like-for-like exchange program at no cost. And so if you've invested in Visual Analyzer in the past and you wish to move to Advanced Analytics, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can simply exchange your licenses for the same license count and move to Advanced Analytics. And so anybody that wants to do that, by all means, contact us or your business partner, and they can make those arrangements. You're available to do that right away. Finally, at the bottom of the screen, anybody that wants to play around with this a little bit after today's demo, you're welcome to do that. Sage has put up a public demo site, and I'm leaving it up there, so hopefully you can have plenty of time to type this out. But it's ssaademo.sagesaleslogicscloud.com. /SLX client, and you can log in as either Lou P, Lee, or Kathy, and the password is password. That's the system I'm using today is their public demo, so you're going to see exactly what we're seeing today when you log in, and so there you go. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dig into it here. We'll go over into SalesLogix now, and you'll notice Advanced Analytics does add a new nav bar area, and so they split the reports into three roles. You've really got dashboards that are focusing on sales. You have another set of them that focus on marketing data, and a third area is support. So I'll just sort of take you through each of these and touch a little bit on them, and then we'll wrap it up with questions at the end of the demo. So the first dashboard we're looking at here is based on geography. So it's going to allow you to look at data and how it's dispersed across the United States. You can see a legend on the right-hand side that shows you what the colors mean. So states that are sage green have the greatest volume of sales, and those sales are based on closed won opportunities. And if you want to see the actual data that makes up the map, you can click on this Show/Hide Details button, and I'll show you that. For example, we'll pick on Minnesota since that's my favorite state. And what it does is it turns blue to tell me that I've applied a filter. So the state of Minnesota has now been filtered, and down below in the lower left you see the summary. There's the sales and the average sales for the state of Minnesota. And if I click on Show the Details, you now see the actual opportunities in SalesLogix that it's pulling the data from and assembling and summarizing the data on the map. And then if you click Show and Hide again, that lower part of the screen goes away, and now we're back to just looking at summary data. Some of the other things you can do throughout the product is you can do either manual filtering based on these filters over on the right-hand side. And these filters, this is, again, just what you get out of the box, and I want to stress that today. I'm showing you just straight out of the box, but as a professional user with a professional license, you can make modifications. You can add other fields of data. You can modify what's filterable and what's not filterable. So for example, if you don't want 2009 and 2010 data, you want the map restricted to only 2011 data, you can just uncheck those boxes. The data repivots and now shows you the results just based on that filtered data. Now that's how you do it manually. You can also do it by dragging and selecting a region. So if I want to see this data and only for the western states, I can just left click with my mouse and draw a box around California, I think it's Utah and Nevada, and let it go. And now, whoops, I grabbed Texas too. So that's fine. So you can grab those states, and now you see down at the bottom those three states and what their sales and average sales are down below. And if you want to get rid of that filter, you can just hit the undo button. It's kind of a breadcrumb trail, and you can back out of something you had just done by clicking on backwards and forwards. And again, you'll see this same functionality throughout all of these dashboards. We're just starting on this one today, so I'll show you this here. Other things you can do is you can export these out. You can actually create what's called a visual image, which is a file. It's a PNG file, which is an image file. You can now take this file, right-click on it, save the image as a file, and put it in a Word document or print it out or put it on your website or whatever it is you want to do with it. So in essence, I've taken a snapshot of the data as I saw it on the map, and I can move it out of the system. Other ways to get data out of here, of course, you can print it, and you can also save it as a PDF. So when you click on PDF, it's going to ask you, well, what do you want included in the PDF? And so you have some choices here on how much of the data I was looking at on the screen is going to be included in it. And then when you click OK, it produces a nice PDF, which of course is a file you can email and print and transfer around as you see fit. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is called Historic Sales. Now you're looking at a bar chart, and we can see here that Lee Hogan, our superstar sales guy, is selling the most based on all history here. And if I click on the bar, for Lee, which I just left-clicked on it once, you'll notice at the bottom of the screen it actually produced another set of data based on just Lee's performance. And so we get a little pie chart that shows us the number of sales that were generated by Lee by lead source. And if I click that again, it will remove that filter. And just like we could on the map, I can actually draw around several employees. And so now, again, we have a representation of all of their sales and how they did by lead source. And then over on the right-hand side, we also have it showing us data by industry. Now, as you probably guessed, you can click these drop-down boxes and change the data and how it's presented. So now I'm looking at 3 of my salespeople and their data by country within the time period that I selected. So all this is possible. So really, when we're looking at any one report, you could really create dozens of reports, dozens of different types of reports, as just using the starting point of where we originally were. So we can go back to looking at it by opportunity manager. So now here it is by those 3 reps. And just like we could on the other screen, we can show in high detail and see the actual opportunity data down below that these charts are being built from. I'll show you what you can summarize by. You can also do it by country. We can do it by industry. Kind of a busy one, but good data. And next we're going to look at sales trend. And sales trend shows us across a timeline how our sales are doing overall at the company. And one of the new objects that they've added in this latest version is this little sliding filter. And so based on the date span, we're looking at 3 quarters right now. But if I slide this little slider, I can move it over. I don't know why that one's not moving. Oh, there we go. And now I can see it by month. So it's a more granular view of the same data spread across the calendar, except now that I see it in a more granular form. And a lot of these will have it by month or quarter, and you can slide it left and right. Same thing down below in the lead source. You have this little sliding bar where I can add or delete lead sources depending on how many of them I want to show at one time. So as I move this thing to the right, it's adding more and more lead sources to the list, and once I let it go, it's going to redraw that analysis and show it to me again based on all the data I've either filtered or not filtered. Okay, so the next one we'll look at is sales forecasting. Everybody likes forecasting. What are we going to make? And that's what we're looking at here. Same thing applies. I have the sliding month, quarter, year. I can look at Q3 by clicking on that, which I just did. And so now it shows us sales overall and then weighted sales potential. And then it shows me down below the individual forecast by salesperson. So we'll pick on a different quarter here, and you'll see that data instantly change for me. Pipeline analysis is the next one. And we'll say, show me all the opportunities that are sitting in the demonstration stage. And now down below, we see a little bubble chart, it's called, and the bigger the bubble, the more dollars there are that are sitting in that particular slot quadrant on my chart. Next one we'll show you is win-loss. How are we doing on sales performance? And I can summarize this by opportunity manager, country, state, lead source, a lot of the same stuff we were seeing in the other ones. So anytime we click on one of these bars at the top, it pivots the data and presents the details that went into that down below. Ranking analysis is the next one. So this shows me how our reps are doing against each other. And I can also change what's being summarized here, as you can see. We could say number of opportunities, total sales potential. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. Next one is productivity analysis, and this is basically activities. So this is phone calls, meetings, to-dos, and so forth. So in the month of July, it looks like there was a lot of work going on, a lot of activities. And then down below, you can see the breakout using the color-coded legend here. You can see what types of activities are being completed by each of your users. All right, next we're going to shift over to the marketing dashboards. So we clicked on marketing dashboards. And this one's going to show us revenue. And this again is based on closed opportunities and the amount of revenue that's coming in based on marketing campaigns. So unlike the sales dashboards, which only show us opportunity level data, this is taking it one step further and taking opportunity data and relating it to the actual campaign that the salesperson has attributed the sale to. And so this is near and dear to the hearts of marketing people who want to see how are their marketing campaigns performing and are they generating revenue for the company. So let's take a look at June here. We'll click on that, and we can see down below that we had 2 different campaigns running in that month that both generated revenue. We can see that the Lenovo one obviously is performing better. And just like the other graphs and charts, we can drag and grab, let's say, 2 months, and so it repivots the data. We can see that there are 4 campaigns that were attributed to closing business in those 2 months. We can also change how this is measured. We're looking at overall revenue. Now we can look at lost revenue. That's bad. And we can look at won and then lost opportunities as well. Next one we'll show you is potential revenue. And this particular one is showing me the year 2011. My demo database doesn't have a lot of open opportunities, so there's not a lot of data in this particular dashboard, but that's okay. It's showing us the same data as before, and just for fun, we'll change to state. And so now we can see in the year of 2011, the potential revenue distributed out by state. Next one we'll look at is responses. And these are the actual lead source responses that are coming into the system. And again, your salespeople are tagging these lead source responses, or at least we hope they are. They're tagging them against the campaign that they're attributing to generating that interest in your products, and that's where this data is coming from. So we're looking at the response trend. It looks like we were ramping up in June, but kind of heading in the wrong direction as we look a little further out. And then down below, we can see the campaigns again that are in effect based on the data that I'm showing. Next is budget versus actual. So now we're going to look at the cost of the campaigns and how their cost effectiveness is compared to the amount of revenue that they're generating. So we can see based on the legend over here that we have budget versus actual, and then the marketing detail, which is the blue one I have highlighted, shows in the summary data down below. All right, the next one we'll show is support dashboards. So we'll click on that. And the first dashboard that we're looking at now is agent productivity trend. And this has got actually a couple different pieces of data overlaid on the same graph, same bar graph here. So we are looking at a period of time. We're looking at the number of tickets. So we have a ticket count in this particular bar, and it's showing us that in this Q2 May, we had 10 tickets, and their average days open is 2.5, which I think is pretty good. So we're closing tickets. And we can see that Robert and Joan both had some tickets in that particular month as well. And we can go into July and look how that's performing as well. And again, we can spread this filter out to incorporate more users into my summarized data down below. And we'll look at ticket categorization. What kinds of issues are your customers having? And so in this particular chart, we are looking at a scatter chart that shows us how much data is split based on all the tickets in the system into these different categories for a ticket. And we can also change that to average days to close if we want. And if I click on the complaint box, it's going to repivot the data again and show me that Robert has handled a number of complaint tickets in this particular report. And the last one I'll show you is agent workload. And this is how many open tickets are assigned to your support agents at this time. We can also see that there's a second line that goes across that shows us the average number of days that tickets have been open within that particular period for that particular user. So we'll pick on Robert again here and click on his, and we can see that he's got a complaint ticket, a hardware ticket, and a software ticket. And if we look at the detail, we can see the 3 tickets. Looks like Coca-Cola's called us a few times, and Charles Technology. So that is it, I think. Brianna, have I missed anything?
I don't think that you have. And right now, we don't have any questions.
Okay.
Taking care of the few that have popped up during the presentation. So
terrific. Well, we kept it short and sweet. Again, we wanted to make this an overview, and I'm going to put that first slide back up again. So anybody, again, that wants to take a look at this after the presentation, feel free to go to that website I've got highlighted there. Log in as Lee or Kathy or Lou P, whatever you want, and you can play around with this as much as you want. All right, I think we're good, and we can go ahead and wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending, and thank you, Scott, for the presentation.
Thank you. Bye-bye.